Welcome back to the Let's Talk Sports Show. Now, number one from Tinsy Strider and N-Dubs, even though N-Dubs isn't featured on my system. You know, if you're listening, N-Dubs, you're welcome. Where are you these days? Did you disappear?
I'm sure he's a big fan of the show.
I'm sure he is, with his big woolly hat.
Yeah.
Send us through the post. But let's start with the F1, shall we? Because amazingly, I say amazingly, it was kind of planned. This one was in the script compared to Leicester winning the title, and that was Lewis Hamilton winning a 5th World Championship. He did it in Mexico, where the Mexico Grand Prix took place, in the capital of Mexico City, and it seems to be the Festival of Champions there for 2 years on the trot. You know, you got a DJ there and everything going on. I thought that was a little bit cheesy. I don't know about you, Jack, but I just thought it was a bit, what's this whole planning thing going on here? Because they had a DJ last year and Kimi Räikkönen was just unimpressed, I remember. And he saw him again this year and thought, oh, he's here again. But Jack, let's just say thank goodness it's over, because the inevitables happened and now we've got 2 more pointless races to go.
Yeah, and even Daniel Ricciardo doesn't even want to take part in them. This is. Did
he say that?
Yeah, he said the way this is going so far, and I keep getting retirements. He said there's no point really bothering for the last 2 races, which just shows how gutting it is for him at the minute. But yeah, of course, Lewis Hamilton winning that 5th World Championship. You know, we've been talking about it for weeks now. That it was eventually going to happen. You know, maybe there was a chance, you know, with the high altitude of Mexico City and the racetrack that it was on, that engine issues might play a part in his race. That wasn't to happen, and you know, he finished comfortably. You know, the first corner with Verstappen, you know, Verstappen was determined to get there after losing to pole position to Ricciardo, and you know, Hamilton wasn't going to take any risks. You know, he didn't need to be first place. You know, he didn't need to get them points. You know,
you always want to finish on a high, don't you?
You do, but you don't want to take stupid risks and go out on the first corner. And I think, you know, he realised that he just wanted to get the points to be able to come, world champion. I think Vettel tried his best, but you know, at the end of the day, I think, you know, obviously it was too far gone for much to happen. You know, the fact that he had to win and Hamilton only had to finish 7th is a tough ask for Vettel to do. So, you know, at the end of the day, we all saw this coming, and we might not be the biggest Hamilton fans here, but of course we respect him as a driver for achieving that, incredible 5 times. So, you know, I did think it was a bit weird that all the journalists immediately after him winning the 5th one go, "Can you go to 7?" I was like, let me just enjoy winning my 5th
can I celebrate?
Let alone thinking, can I go to a 7 with Michael Schumacher? But to be on the same as Manuel Fangio is an incredible achievement. Yeah.
I kind of course, you know, 5 world championships. As Jack just mentioned, the journalists are too hungry for more success for the driver. Yet again, they want to look into the future, while Lewis Hamilton might want to drink after all that. But yet, you know, 5 world championships in this day and age as well, in this era where we have all these talented young drivers happening as well. It just shows that Lewis Hamilton can still do it, but it's so, you know, that's a big achievement. 5 world championships, and only the 3rd driver to ever reach that.
Yeah, and if he won his first one 10 years ago, isn't it?
Yeah,
so
yeah.
There's at least one championship every 2 years. So, you know,
that's crazy.
I'm not too sure of how many other drivers have that kind of same ratio throughout their careers. It's quite a phenomenal achievement for him. But yeah, it's like, where does he go from here, really, now to impress people? It's like no one's even talking about the 6. It's like, you got to go win 7 now. You got to go beat Schumacher and tie him, you know. And
I feel like when if the 6th one happens, people are like, oh, we'll be back next year to check how you do.
Yeah. We'll just give us a notification in like a year's time. Let's see how you're doing then. But yeah, great achievement for him. I think it was like halfway through the race, you know, he started complaining about his tires. And then suddenly you see him coasting around. It's like, what's he doing that for? It's like, oh, he's just cruising around, you know.
Tactics.
May as well, as soon as he went through the stadium part of the race, may as well just started waving to people as he cruised through. It's like, because like he was not putting on to any pressure whatsoever, not looking to like go aggressive and try and get into the podium positions whatsoever, and just cruise his way through. And you know, we spoke for the past 2 weeks about this situation, that it was basically Hamilton's, and it was just a case of getting the points mathematically in order to get the job done. Vettel pretty much out of the picture then, and it's like, what more can he do, really? Already made mistakes throughout the year that cost him, really, and once again he's seen Hamilton at the top of the podium, not him. So
and you know, for Sebastian Vettel, it's the 2nd year in a row, Jack, that he's missed out on the World Championship. This is his 4th season at Ferrari now, so it's not happening for the German like his fellow German once did back in the early noughties of Michael Schumacher. So, yeah, for Vettel, it is the pressure on him now next year to bring home their first Drivers' Championship in at least 12 years now, it will be.
I think the pressure at Ferrari is always on. Whether that be the team or the driver, but you could tell that he was gutted after the race. I know he'd probably thought for weeks now that he wasn't going to win, deep down, but I think you could tell after being confirmed that Lewis was champion, he looked a bit gutted. Obviously, the respect was there, and I don't know if you've seen a video, but him going into the Mercedes garages after the race.
Oh no,
Vettel was allowed in, and he was handshaking everybody and congratulating everybody. He went up to Toto Wolff, congratulated the team.
He probably went up to Toto to say, "Can I go see next year?
Can I talk? Can I talk?
But, can I do a Nico Rosberg?"
But that just shows how much of a respect he has for that, and obviously him not winning it is disappointing. But as much as he will want to put the pressure on next year, he's also got a new, fresh, young teammate. In Charles Leclerc next season.
My man.
So that'll be tough as well for Vettel. But, there was talk yesterday if Hamilton is still on his game next season, you've got Vettel and possibly Leclerc and hopefully, again, Verstappen with that Honda power unit, which actually didn't blow up in Mexico, which they had difficulties with last season. But obviously that Honda engine is looking a little bit better this year. So hopefully with the Red Bull chassis, Max Verstappen and possibly Pierre Gasly as well might be up there.
Verstappen winning yet again in Mexico. He did that last year, and again his win in Mexico has been covered away by Hamilton's World Championship drive. But I must admit, I was so glad that finally they arranged it this year of where Hamilton should park his car, and there was a World Championship obviously label where they park next to it and always hit it because it's in the way. I'm trying to park my car. But at least they actually got that sorted this time. I work in events now and again. The management was rubbish last year. They've learned what to do this year, where Hamilton goes instead of running through the crowd and probably nearly getting killed. But
I'm not sure what the man is. The one that's always there with the podiums.
Yes,
for the FIA.
I know he's got the best job in the world.
But what made me laugh is on Saturday when Verstappen lost out to Ricciardo by just a few tenths. Verstappen didn't brake, and he just, because he was so angry, he just ran into the second place thing, and he was like that. He was like, "Come on, why did you knock that over?" So yesterday, when he pulled up and he just touched it in first place, he went, "Well done, you got it." But yeah, that was good. But for obviously the highs of Max Verstappen, again the lows of Daniel Ricciardo, was doing such a great job. Did lose out at the start. But was fighting with Hamilton and obviously Raikkonen as well, and Vettel he had a few battles with during the race. But you could see the puff of smoke when he was fighting Vettel, and it was just like, oh no, please just let that be. Just a little thing that will make him continue. But yeah, again, just absolutely gutting. You could see what it means, and a lot of fans out there still thinking it's a conspiracy. But it's like, why would Red Bull lose money putting a car out on the grid to not win or to not have a chance? They're wasting money themselves. So. It's just bad luck.
Unless they experimented with Verstappen's car, but what's the point? It's going to be a new car next year. So
it's just bad luck for Ricciardo. So and that might be his last chance of getting a podium because it's Brazil and Abu Dhabi, their best circuits. So absolutely disappointing for the Australian. But let's hope we see him with a smile on his face. He was very happy on Saturday. So in a couple of weeks' time, let's hope he's a bit better.
Well, let's just wrap up with one thing I forgot to pick out from our script, which is how good is Lewis Hamilton? I know
he's not very good. No,
he's not very good now. Okay,
hate me, prove me wrong, fight me.
Comments flowing
people
away.
These days.
But how good is he? Because we've seen this season that Ferrari had a better car, but yet Hamilton produced the goods and made it look like Mercedes had the fastest car on the track. Just little things like that, especially his win in Italy when he stopped Ferrari from winning on their home turf, to actually coming back from the Nico Rosberg defeat back in 2016, just shows that no matter what gets thrown at him, he just seems to jump over that hurdle and carry on.
Yeah, that's what I mean. You got to have the right kind of characteristics and and personality in order to succeed in any kind of sport. And, Hamilton's got that adversity already placed on him, as you said, in 2016 with Rosberg winning and then going on to say, oh, yeah, I'm going to retire now. Hamilton's not even going to have a chance to beat me next year now. I'm going to retire on
still
top.
Annoys me.
Hamilton probably would have been really annoyed by that. I'm not too surprised that, he's gone back-to-back now with Drivers' Championship wins. But, it's like I said in the video that everyone hates me for now, It's to and fro. You can only do so much as a driver, and then you have to rely on other people to whether or not they make mistakes or challenge you or whatnot. And Vettel crashing out, 3 out of the last 5 races in terms of spinning out on the track and losing positions and then having to climb back up before the end of the race. It's 50 plus laps in any sort of race. Hamilton's still got to do a fantastic drive in order to come out on top. But Vettel on the other side, his nearest challenger to the title, is going out and doing bad mistakes and things like that, and that has to play a part into it, really. I'm not too sure how much of it came into 2017 because I can't really remember that much of it. But this past season, certainly for me, it's felt like Vettel has made a handful of costly errors that has cost him the title. And I think if he didn't make those errors, it would probably be going on to these last 2 races with the title still very much in anyone's grasp, really. So, yeah, Hamilton, great driver, done all sorts, but still Vettel's mistakes for me kind of gave it to him this year.
It's funny because I remember seeing something recently in an article about, it was one of the Ferrari bosses, I can't remember the name, but he was basically saying if it wasn't for Vettel, Ferrari would have won the championship this year. But they could still win the constructors. That's still up for grabs after Ferrari got 3rd and 2nd this weekend. Because Toto Wolff is still suspicious.
How did Vettel get 2nd this weekend? He was hardly aggressive at all. He only was aggressive on the start and then chasing around on that 1st and 2nd lap against Ricciardo. And then how did he get into the podiums for that situation anyway? Ricciardo's car had to
blow up.
Yeah, so it's to and fro's each way. You have good weeks and bad weeks, and this week's was a good one for Vettel. But wait and see. Really,
I think that's a bit harsh on Vettel though, for the guy to say that in the comments, because he is the highest ranked Ferrari driver this year. It's not like Kimi was higher than him.
No.
That Vettel cost them the championship, because I think Ferrari's strategy calls are always really strange.
Well, I mean, they didn't work for Alonso, did it? It's not Alonso's fault what happened at Ferrari, and then throughout after 2007, what we had, Felipe Massa, he just missed out on the last lap of the championship. And then what was it? 2009, they never turned up. 2010 nearly did it, but Vettel beat Alonso to it. So it's just little things like that where you do sometimes wonder the strategy of Ferrari has been poor, I think, over the last few years.
And I think Mercedes made some strange calls this season as well. But I think one of the main factors as well is the Mercedes reliability. They only had one issue, and that was Austria. And it was strange the fact that both of them went out on that race, but
made the race exciting.
Yeah, it did. And apart from that, they haven't had that car has been bulletproof all season. So I think obviously that
don't shoot at it. It might.
We don't know. Not literally. But as well,
especially at those tires. Those tires are about to go out.
I think
all those markings.
I think the calmness in the team as well. The way the team is worked. I think the teammate of Valtteri Bottas helps Lewis Hamilton as well. There's not. I don't want to say there's not much of a threat, but there's no tension in the garage compared to what Nico Rosberg and Hamilton had.
I do miss that.
It's always very calm in there. I think that helps Hamilton as well. Obviously, he is a hugely talented driver, and we're obviously not going to say anything different, but we like other drivers to have a chance as well. And like we said, for next season, if we have 2 Ferrari drivers in Vettel and Leclerc, Hamilton, and possibly Verstappen as well, we want to see more drivers fighting. We want to see more drivers in the championship.
And Raikkonen for Sauber, yeah.
Oh, and Kimi Raikkonen for Sauber.
I'd love it. I'd love it if they did somehow compete for wins. That'd be amazing.
And can we also, before we go to the newsy break, can we also point out that Stoffel Van Dorn got 8th place?
I know. Well done. Yeah, hey. Just when it's too late, Stoffel, just as you always do. And now he'll be going to Formula E, the reject lineup of Formula One drivers. Good luck, Stoffel. And Alonso blew up again. Funny enough, I actually didn't watch the race fully because I went bowling with my family and in Wrexham, and the bowling has the 10-pin bowling has a big TV, and I had the F1 race on. So me and my brother went to the bar to get some, and I thought I'd quickly watch a bit of it, and then we just saw Alonso in his bike going back. I was like, yeah, that just sums it all up. Because my brother Christopher, he's a bigger fan of Alonso than I am, so we're just both really, really gutted about Alonso's career in F1 at the moment. So, not good times. Also, Marcus Ericsson, he hasn't been given a seat for next year. He's going to go to IndyCar. Great. Antonio will be taking over there of his seat. I don't think we'll miss him that much. But, Constructors' Championship still lives on if you really care about that.